Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. The meeting room fell silent as Commander Jack Reynolds entered. The stark white walls of the Galactic Council's chamber made him feel small despite his impressive 62 frame. 20 pairs of alien eyes tracked his movement, none of them friendly. Commander Reynolds, please take a seat, said Representative Orland, a tall blue-skinned alien with four arms carefully folded in front of him. His voice was smooth but cold. Jack sat down at the lone chair positioned in the center of the semicircle of council members. Something felt wrong, very wrong. You understand why you're here? Orland asked, his large eyes blinking slowly. No, sir, my unit just returned from the Vega campaign. We were told to report immediately. Jack kept his back straight, his face neutral. 5 years of working with aliens had taught him to hide his emotions well. Orland slid a document across the table. The Galactic Council has passed Resolution 7729. Effective immediately, all human military personnel are to be removed from active combat roles in any conflict within Council space. Jack stared at the document, the words not making sense at first. Removed, all humans, there must be some mistake. There is no mistake, Commander, said another council member, a reptilian creature with scales that shimmered under the bright lights. The vote was unanimous. Jack felt his heart pound. On what grounds? My troops just helped secure 3 systems from the Krellel insurgency. We had the lowest casualty rates of any. The official reason, Orland interrupted, is humanitarian concern for human losses in interstellar conflicts. Humanitarian concern? Jack couldn't keep the edge from his voice. With all due respect, we never asked for your protection. Humans have been fighting our own wars for thousands of years. A murmur ran through the council members. Orland raised a hand for silence. The decision is final, Commander. You will oversee the immediate transfer of your command to Captain Draz of the Torian 5th Division. Your human soldiers will be reassigned to non-combat roles or return to Earth. Jack stood up suddenly, causing several council members to flinch. This is outrageous. We've bled alongside your troops for 5 years. The Alliance Treaty specifically guarantees human participation in. The treaty has been amended, Orland said flatly. Earth's representatives have already signed the new terms. Without consulting any military leaders, without even telling us, Jack could feel his face growing hot. That was their choice. This meeting is not a negotiation, Commander. It is to inform you of your new reality. 2 hours later, Jack stood at the viewpoint of Station Gamma 9, watching as Torian troops boarded the transports that would take them to replace his unit. The Torians were impressive physical specimens, 8 ft tall with gray leathery skin and enough muscle to tear a door from its hinges. But they lacked initiative, creativity, the very things that had made human forces so effective. Quite a view, isn't it? Said a voice behind him. Jack turned to see Major Tom Wilson, his second in command, looking out at the ships. They're really going through with it, Jack said. 5 years of combat experience just thrown away. Tom handed him a data tablet. It's happening everywhere. Every human combat unit in Council space is being disbanded, even the Special Forces teams embedded with the Arcturus fleet. Jack scrolled through the reports, his disbelief growing. This makes no sense, Tom. We've been winning battles, saving lives, why now? The official story stinks, Tom said, lowering his voice. I've been talking to some of the other officers. There are rumors. What kind of rumors? Tom glanced around to make sure they were alone. Something happened during the Battle of Proxima Centauri last year. The Council has classified all records, but a few alien officers who were there have been talking. They say they saw human soldiers doing impossible things. Jack frowned. Impossible how? Don't know exactly, but one captain told his crewmate that humans are reality benders. Whatever that means, Tom shrugged. Probably just alien superstition. Before Jack could respond, his comm unit beeped. Commander Reynolds, report to Docking Bay 7 immediately to begin the handover process. Jack sighed. Duty calls one last time. The next few days were a blur of paperwork, debriefings, and painful goodbyes. Jack watched as his unit, soldiers he had fought beside and led for years, were processed like cargo, their faces showing the same confusion and anger he felt. On the 4th day, as he was clearing out his office, the door slid open. Jack looked up, expecting to see another bureaucrat with more forms. Instead, a slender alien with pale, almost translucent skin stood in the doorway. Jack recognized the species, a Vero, one of the oldest races in the Council, known for their analytical minds and political neutrality. "Commander Reynolds," the alien asked, its voice soft and melodic. "That's me, though it's just Mr. Reynolds now, I suppose." The alien entered and closed the door behind it. "My name is Varric. I believe we have matters of mutual interest to discuss." Jack leaned back in his chair. "I doubt that. In 8 hours, I'll be on a transport back to Earth with the rest of my kind." Varric's large silver eyes studied Jack carefully. "What if I told you that the reason for the human ban is not what the Council claims?" This caught Jack's attention. "I'm listening." "Not here," Varric handed Jack a small chip. "This contains coordinates and a time. If you wish to learn the truth about why the Council fears humans on the battlefield, meet me there. Come alone." Before Jack could ask more questions, Varric slipped out the door, leaving him holding the chip and filled with questions. That night, against his better judgment, Jack made his way to an abandoned maintenance section of the station. The corridors were dimly lit, and his footsteps echoed on the metal floor. At the end of a long hallway, he found Varric waiting. "You came," the alien said, sounding relieved. "I wasn't certain you would." "I want answers," Jack replied. "Why are humans being banned from fighting?" Varric gestured for Jack to follow him into a small room filled with old equipment. Once inside, he activated a device that hummed softly. "Privacy field," Varric explained. "What I'm about to tell you would cost me my life if the Council discovered I shared it." Jack crossed his arms. "I'm listening." "The Council doesn't fear for human lives, Commander. They fear human potential." Varric's silver eyes seemed to glow in the dim light. "During the Krellel conflict, certain anomalies were observed in human combat performance, statistical impossibilities, outcomes that defied probability." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that humans do something on the battlefield that no other species can do, something that frightens the oldest and most powerful members of the Council." Varric leaned closer. "And they've been hiding evidence of it for years." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. "What exactly do we do?" "That's what my group is trying to discover. We are scientists, philosophers, and truth-seekers from various worlds who question the Council's increasing control." Varric handed Jack another, larger data chip. "This contains encrypted communications between Council leaders. It's incomplete, but it mentions a special facility where they study captured human soldiers." Jack took the chip, his mind racing. "Why tell me this? Why now?" "Because the ban is just the beginning. There are whispers of more permanent solutions to the human problem." Varric's voice became urgent. "We need someone on the inside of human military circles, someone with connections and respect, someone like you." The station's warning system suddenly blared, making both of them jump. "Security sweep," Varric said, gathering his things quickly. "They've been increasing since the resolution passed. I must go." "Wait," Jack called as Varric headed for the door. "How do I contact you?" "Instructions are on the chip. Be careful who you trust, Commander." Varric paused at the doorway. "The Council isn't just afraid of what humans can do on the battlefield. They're afraid of what you might become if you ever discovered the truth about yourselves." With that cryptic warning, Varric disappeared into the shadows, leaving Jack alone with a data chip and a growing sense that the galaxy he thought he understood was built on lies. As Jack made his way back to his quarters, he couldn't shake the feeling that his life, and possibly the fate of humanity, had just changed forever. 5 years had passed since the ban. 5 years since Commander Jack Reynolds had become simply Jack Reynolds, owner of Stellar Freight Solutions, a small but growing shipping company that moved cargo to the outer colonies. At least that's what it said on the official papers. The reality was much different. "Coming up on the drop point in 3 minutes," called out Lisa from the pilot seat of the unmarked transport ship. Once a lieutenant in Jack's old unit, she now served as his chief pilot and second in command. Jack nodded, checking his gear one last time. "Any sign of patrol ships?" "Nothing on scanners. Looks like we got lucky." Jack smiled grimly. "We make our own luck." The ship's hold contained 20 former human soldiers, all dressed in plain black combat suits with no markings. They were the best of the best, men and women who had refused to accept the Council's ban and had joined Jack's underground network. 2 minutes, Lisa announced. "Everyone ready back there." Jack looked at the faces of his team. They weren't supposed to be here. No humans were. But the farming colony on Vega III had sent out desperate pleas for help after repeated raids by pirates. The Council forces had been delayed in responding, as they always seemed to be when human colonies were attacked. "Remember," Jack said to his team, "quick and clean. We hit the pirate base, free the hostages, and leave before any Council ships arrive. No traces." The team nodded. They had done this many times before. "Dropping in 30 seconds," Lisa called. The ship descended through the atmosphere of the small moon where the pirates had made their base. As soon as they touched down, the rear doors opened and the team moved out with practiced precision. "Alpha team with me on the main entrance," Jack ordered through his comm. "Beta team circle around to the back. Gamma secure our exit." The pirate base was a converted mining facility, built into the side of a rocky cliff. Intelligence from the colonists suggested that the hostages, 15 farmers taken in the last raid, were being held in the lower levels. Jack's team moved silently toward the entrance. The pirates had posted only 2 guards who were quickly neutralized with stun weapons. No killing unless absolutely necessary, that was Jack's rule. They weren't assassins, they were soldiers. "Main entrance secure," Jack reported, moving in. Inside, the base was dimly lit and smelled of fuel and unwashed bodies. Jack's team moved through the corridors, stunning the few pirates they encountered. Most were sleeping. The raid had been timed for the middle of the local night cycle. "Beta team here," came Tom's voice over the comm. "We've located the hostages. Lower level east section, light guard presence." "Copy that," Jack replied. "We're heading your way." They descended deeper into the base, staying alert for any sign of alarm. So far, the operation was going smoothly, almost too smoothly. "Jack," Lisa's voice came through his earpiece. "I'm picking up some unusual energy readings from the central section of the base. Nothing in our intel mentioned any special equipment." Jack frowned. "Can you identify it?" "Negative, but it's not standard pirate gear. This is high-end tech." Jack made a quick decision. "Tom, proceed with freeing the hostages. I'll take 2 men and check out these energy readings." With Marcus and Ren, 2 of his most experienced operators, Jack made his way toward the central section of the base. They found a heavily reinforced door protected by a security system far more advanced than anything pirates should have. "This isn't right," Marcus muttered as he worked to bypass the lock. "Pirates don't have access to military-grade security systems." Jack agreed something strange was going on here. After a tense minute, the door slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, they found what looked like a research lab. Computer terminals lined the walls, and in the center was a strange device emitting a soft blue glow. "What is this place?" Ren whispered. Jack moved to one of the terminals. "Let's find out." The computer was unlocked. Whoever had been using it hadn't expected anyone to get past the door. Jack quickly scrolled through the files, his expression growing darker with each passing second. "These aren't pirates," he said finally. "They're working for someone with serious resources. They've been collecting data on the colonists, specifically on how they perform under stress." "Under stress?" Marcus asked. Jack pointed to a video file playing on the screen. It showed a group of colonists fighting off raiders with farming tools. What should have been a massacre was instead a surprising victory for the outnumbered farmers. "Look at this," Jack said, pointing to data scrolling alongside the video. "They're measuring probability shifts during combat. And look at the names of these files." The folder was labeled Human Anomaly Research Phase 2. Jack, Lisa's voice cut in urgently over the comm. "Council ships just appeared in orbit. They're not responding to hails." "How did they find us?" Ren asked. Jack's mind raced. This wasn't a pirate base at all. It's a research outpost disguised as one. He turned to his team. "Download everything you can from these terminals. We need to know what they're doing here." While Marcus and Ren copied the data, Jack rejoined Tom's team, who had successfully freed the hostages. The colonists looked shaken but unharmed. "We need to move now," Jack ordered. "Council ships in orbit." They rushed back to their transport, the colonists in tow. As they approached the ship, Lisa was already warming up the engines. "We've got 5 minutes before they can position their ships to cut off our escape route," she reported. Jack did a quick head count as everyone boarded. "Let's not waste a second then." The transport lifted off, accelerating hard through the atmosphere. Behind them, landing craft were already descending toward the base. "They're not pursuing," Lisa said, sounding surprised. Jack frowned. They're more interested in the base than in us. I want to know why. Once they were safely away, Jack examined the data they had stolen. Most of it was encrypted, but some files were accessible. What he found confirmed his worst suspicions. They're studying us, he told his inner circle later that night. The Council has been running experiments on human combat effectiveness for years. Tom leaned forward. What kind of experiments? Jack brought up one of the decrypted files. According to this, humans display statistically impossible success rates in combat situations, especially when outnumbered or fighting to protect others. We're good soldiers, Lisa said with a shrug. Nothing mysterious about that. It's more than that, Jack replied. Look at these numbers. In controlled scenarios, humans were consistently beating the odds not by small margins but by factors that should be mathematically impossible. Ren, who had a background in physics before joining the military, studied the data. These readings, they're measuring quantum field fluctuations during combat. Why would they care about that? I don't know yet, Jack admitted. But I think it connects to what Varric told me 5 years ago about humans doing something on the battlefield that scares the Council. A notification beeped on Jack's comm unit. Speaking of Varric, he murmured, reading the message. He wants to meet, says he has new information. Tom looked concerned. Could be a trap. The Council might know we raided their research facility. It's a risk we'll have to take, Jack decided. If we want answers, Varric is our best lead. The others left to tend to their various duties. Jack stared at the data scrolling across his screen. The patterns were clear even if their meaning wasn't. Something happened when humans fought, something that defied normal probability, and the Galactic Council was willing to go to extraordinary lengths to understand it or perhaps to hide it. Jack closed the files and sent a response to Varric. It was time to dig deeper into the mystery. Whatever the Council feared about humans on the battlefield, he was determined to find out what it was before it was too late. The meeting point Varric had chosen was an abandoned mining station orbiting a dead moon. Once a bustling operation extracting valuable minerals, it now drifted empty and forgotten. The perfect place for a secret meeting. Jack's ship approached cautiously, sensors scanning for any sign of a trap. I'm not picking up any other vessels, Lisa reported from the pilot seat. If Varric is here, he came alone. Jack nodded. Keep the engines hot. If anything feels wrong, be ready to leave immediately. What about you? Lisa asked, concern evident in her voice. I'll take my chances. Tom and Marcus will back me up. The rest of you stay with the ship. The three men made their way through the airlock and into the silent station. Emergency lights cast long shadows down the empty corridors. Their footsteps echoed on the metal floors. This place gives me the creeps, Marcus muttered. Jack didn't disagree. The station felt like a ghost, a remnant of a more prosperous time before the Council had tightened its grip on human activities. They found Varric waiting in what had once been the station's control room. The pale alien stood near a viewpoint, gazing out at the stars. You're late, Varric said without turning around. Security precautions, Jack replied. You understand. Varric turned, his silver eyes reflecting the dim light. Indeed, caution has kept me alive these past 5 years. He motioned to a data terminal. I have something to show you. Jack approached but maintained a safe distance. What is it? Coordinates, Varric said, to a place the Council doesn't want you to find. A secure archive on Centauri Prime containing records from the Earth-Draconian War. Jack frowned. That war ended 20 years ago. What does it have to do with the human ban? Everything, Varric's eyes narrowed. It was during that conflict that the Council first noticed the anomalies in human combat performance. The archive contains the original footage and data that led to your species being classified as a potential threat. And you want us to break into this archive? Tom asked incredulously. Centauri Prime is the most heavily guarded Council world. Yes, Varric replied simply. My contacts can provide security codes and a narrow window of opportunity during the upcoming Galactic Summit. Most of the Council's attention will be focused on protecting the delegates. Jack studied the alien's face. Why are you helping us? What do you get out of this? Varric was silent for a moment. The Council is changing, he said finally. Moving toward greater control, less freedom. Some of us believe that the truth, whatever it is, should not be buried. Jack considered his options. Breaking into a Council archive was far more dangerous than their usual operations. If caught, they wouldn't simply be imprisoned. They would disappear as other human resistance fighters had over the years, but the answers they sought might be worth the risk. We'll need detailed plans of the facility, Jack said at last. Security rotations, sensor placements, everything. Varric nodded. I'll provide what I can, the rest will be up to you. He handed Jack a small device. This contains the initial information. My contact will reach out with the rest when the time is right. As they returned to their ship, Tom voiced his concerns. This could be a setup, Jack. We'd be walking right into the heart of Council territory. I know, Jack admitted, but we need answers, real ones, not just theories and rumors. Back on their base, a converted asteroid in a remote system, Jack gathered his most trusted team members. Lisa, Tom, Marcus, Ren, and Alex, a former tech specialist with a talent for slicing security systems. This mission is strictly volunteer, Jack emphasized as he outlined Varric's information. Anyone who wants to sit this one out can do so without judgment. No one moved. We're all in, Lisa said, speaking for the group. Whatever the council is hiding, we deserve to know. The next 3 weeks were spent in intensive preparation. Alex worked day and night to create countermeasures for the archive security systems. Ren studied the building plans, identifying the best entry and exit points. Tom and Marcus trained for every possible combat scenario. When the day finally arrived, Jack felt a mix of anticipation and dread. This mission could provide the answers they had sought for years, or it could be the end of everything they had built. Their ship approached Centauri Prime under the guise of a supply vessel. Varric's codes worked, getting them through the outer security perimeter without issue. So far so good, Lisa murmured as she guided the ship toward a secondary spaceport near the archive. Jack, Tom, Marcus, and Alex prepared to disembark, dressed in maintenance worker uniforms. Ren and Lisa would remain with the ship, ready for a quick extraction. Remember, Jack said, we get in, access the files, and get out. No heroics, no detours. The 4 men moved through the spaceport without incident, their forged credentials passing inspection. From there, they followed the route Ren had mapped out, using service tunnels and maintenance corridors to avoid the main thoroughfares. The archive building loomed ahead, a sleek structure of glass and metal. During normal hours, it would be filled with researchers and officials. But now, with the summit drawing most personnel away, it stood nearly empty. Security patrol, Marcus warned, pulling the team into a shadowy alcove as 2 guards passed by. Alex checked his scanner. We have a 15-minute window before the next patrol, let's move. They reached the archive service entrance, where Alex went to work on the security panel. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he bypassed one system after another. Almost there, he whispered, just one more. The door slid open with a soft hiss. We're in, Jack said. Alex, find a terminal, the rest of us will stand guard. The interior of the archive was cool and silent. Row upon row of data storage units filled the vast room, each containing thousands of records from across the galaxy. Alex quickly located a terminal and connected his decryption device. Section, he muttered, following Varric's instructions. Earth Draconian War classified records. Minutes ticked by as Alex worked. Jack kept checking his timepiece, knowing their window of opportunity was shrinking. Got it, Alex suddenly exclaimed, his voice barely above a whisper. Downloading now. Jack moved to the terminal, watching as the files transferred. Most were encrypted, but some preview images were visible battle footage from the front lines of the war. One video began to play automatically. It showed a human platoon surrounded by draconian forces, outnumbered at least 5 to 1. What should have been a massacre turned into something else entirely. As Jack watched, the human soldiers moved with impossible speed and precision. Shots that should have missed found their targets. Enemies that should have flanked them stumbled or fired wide. And most incredibly, a grenade that landed in the middle of the human position simply didn't explode. What am I seeing? Jack whispered. Alex pointed to data scrolling alongside the video. Look at these readings, quantum fluctuations off the charts, it's like reality itself bent around them. More videos played showing similar scenarios. In each one, human soldiers achieved victories that defied all probability. And in each one, strange energy readings spiked during the most critical moments. Download complete, Alex reported. Time to go, Tom urged. We've been here too long already. They made their way back toward the exit, minds reeling from what they had seen. Just as they reached the door, alarms began to blare throughout the facility. "That's not for us," Marcus said, checking his scanner. "Something's happening at the main entrance." "Whatever it is, it's a distraction we can use," Jack decided. "Move out now." They slipped back through the service corridors, using the confusion to mask their escape. When they finally reached the ship, Lisa already had the engines running. "What happened?" she asked as they boarded. "The comms are going crazy with security alerts." "Not our concern," Jack replied. "Get us out of here fast and quiet." As the ship broke orbit and jumped to safety, Jack gathered everyone in the main cabin. "Did you find what we were looking for?" Ren asked. Jack nodded slowly. "I think we found much more than that." He turned to Alex. "Show them." Alex connected his device to the ship's display. The videos played again, showing human soldiers performing impossible feats on the battlefield. "According to the data," Jack explained, "humans emit some kind of energy during combat, especially when under extreme stress. The Council scientists called it probability manipulation." "Probability manipulation," Lisa repeated skeptically. "What does that even mean?" Jack took a deep breath. "It means that somehow when humans fight, especially when fighting together, we bend the rules of reality itself." The cabin fell silent as the implications sank in. "The Council didn't ban us to protect us," Marcus said slowly. "They banned us because they're afraid of us." "And now," Jack added, "we know why." The journey back to their hidden base was tense and quiet. Each person on Jack's ship was lost in their own thoughts, trying to process what they had discovered in the Council archives. Jack sat alone in his quarters, watching the battle footage for the fifth time. The evidence was right in front of him, yet he still struggled to believe it. Humans altering probability, bending reality. It sounded impossible. A knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. "Come in," he called. Ren entered, her face serious. "Alex finished analyzing the data we stole. You need to see this." In the ship's common area, the team had gathered around a large display. Alex stood nearby, his expression grim. "What did you find?" Jack asked. Alex pulled up a series of documents on the screen. "These are classified Council reports dating back 20 years. They detail something called the Human Anomaly Project." "What kind of project?" Tom asked. "A research initiative," Alex explained. "After the Earth-Draconian War, the Council began studying human combat performance in secret. They discovered that humans emit a unique energy signature during battle, especially in high-stress situations." "The quantum fluctuations we saw in the footage," Jack said. Alex nodded. "Exactly, but it gets more interesting." He brought up another document. "According to their scientists, this energy doesn't just affect the humans producing it. It creates what they call probability fields that can influence everything around them." "In simple terms," Lisa asked. "In simple terms," Alex replied, "when humans fight, especially in groups, they unconsciously shift probability in their favor. Bullets miss that should hit. Explosions happen at just the right moment. Enemy soldiers make unusual mistakes." Marcus shook his head in disbelief. "That's not possible, we're not magic." "Not magic," Ren interjected. "Quantum physics. On the smallest levels, reality isn't fixed. Particles exist in multiple states until observed. What if humans somehow influence which state becomes real?" Jack frowned. "Even if that's true, why ban us? Why not use this ability?" "Because of this," Alex said, pulling up another file. "The effect grows stronger when more humans fight together. During the Earth-Draconian War, large human forces created massive probability storms that had unpredictable effects." The screen showed footage of a battlefield where reality itself seemed to waver. Trees grew and died in seconds. Equipment melted without heat. In one disturbing clip, a draconian soldier seemed to phase in and out of existence. "The Council feared what might happen if humans learned to control this ability consciously," Alex continued. "So they banned us from combat, scattered our military units, and began experimenting on captured soldiers." "Experimenting?" Jack's voice hardened. "What kind of experiments?" Alex hesitated. "The kind designed to see if humans could be taught to control these probability fields." Lisa leaned forward suddenly. "Wait, bring up that list of test subjects again." Alex complied, and Lisa pointed to a name near the bottom. "Maya Torres, she was in our unit, reported missing in action 5 years ago during the withdrawal." Jack felt cold. "She's alive. They've been experimenting on her all this time." According to this, Alex said grimly, she's not just alive. She's the first human to show signs of conscious control over probability manipulation. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Where are they keeping her? Jack finally asked. Alex pulled up one last file. Facility X-37, it's a black site on the moon of Riel 4. Officially, it doesn't exist. Jack stood up, his decision made. We're going to get her out. Jack, Tom said carefully, that's a council black site. We can't just. We can and we will, Jack cut him off. They've been experimenting on our people. They've been lying to the entire galaxy. And Maya, his voice softened, Maya was one of us. We don't leave our people behind. The team exchanged looks. They all knew the risks, but no one voiced any further objections. How do we get into a place that doesn't exist? Marcus asked. Jack turned to the screen, studying the limited information they had on Facility X-37. We'll need help, and I know just who to ask. 3 days later, Jack stood in another abandoned station, waiting. This time he had come alone, despite his team's objections. Varric arrived exactly on time, gliding into the room with his usual grace. You took an incredible risk at the archives, the alien said without preamble. The council is in an uproar. Good, Jack replied. They should be. They've been experimenting on my people. Varric's silver eyes widened slightly. You found out about the program. Not just the program, we know about Maya Torres and we know where she's being held. Varric was silent for a moment. You're planning a rescue. It wasn't a question, but Jack nodded anyway. We need your help. Security protocols, guard rotations, anything you can give us on Facility X-37. What you're proposing is suicide, Varric said quietly. That facility has more security than any council building. Even if you somehow got inside, you would never get out again. Jack stepped closer to the alien. You've been helping us for 5 years, Varric. Why? What's your stake in all this? Varric turned away, looking out at the stars. The council has existed for millennia. It was meant to bring peace and cooperation to the galaxy, but power corrupts. Commander Reynolds and those who have held power longest are the most corrupted of all. You didn't answer my question. Varric faced him again. My species was once like yours, proud, independent, with abilities that frightened the older races. We were contained, controlled, our unique traits bred out of us over generations. His voice took on a bitter edge. Now we serve as perfect bureaucrats, efficient, compliant, empty. Jack felt a chill. They want to do the same to us. Yes, the difference is you humans might be strong enough to resist. Varric produced a small data cube and handed it to Jack. Everything I have on Facility X-37. It's not much, but perhaps it will help. Jack took the cube. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Varric warned. What I haven't told you is that the council has accelerated their plans. They're preparing to announce a new health initiative for human colonies. What kind of initiatives? Mandatory genetic screening for all children, followed by treatments to correct dangerous mutations. Varric's eyes held Jack's. They plan to eliminate your ability from future generations, quietly, permanently. Jack's hand tightened around the data cube. How long do we have? The announcement will come after the current Galactic Summit ends. 2 weeks, perhaps less. Jack nodded grimly. Then we have 2 weeks to expose the truth. As he turned to leave, Varric called after him. Commander Reynolds, there's one more thing you should know about Lieutenant Torres. Jack paused. The reports indicate her abilities have progressed far beyond anything the council expected. They fear her now. Varric's voice dropped to a whisper. And perhaps they should. Back at their base, Jack shared everything with his team. The news of the council's genetic plan shocked them all into silence. This isn't just about us anymore, Lisa said finally. It's about the future of our entire species. Jack nodded. We have 2 objectives now. Rescue Maya and expose the council's lies to the galaxy. How? Marcus asked. Even if we rescue Maya, who would believe us? The council controls all major communication channels. Not all of them, Alex interjected. During the summit, representatives from every world will be connected to the galactic network. If we could access that network, we could broadcast the truth to everyone at once. The council wouldn't be able to hide it, Jack finished. Tom looked at the limited information they had on Facility X-37. We'd need a miracle to pull this off. Jack smiled for the first time in days. Not a miracle, just a bit of probability manipulation. He pulled up the image of Maya Tors, a strong-faced woman with determined eyes. As he stared at her picture, Jack felt a surge of resolve. The council banned humans from the battlefield because they feared what we could do, he said quietly. It's time to show them.